I like that. So finally, after all these amazing ideas, I just want to pose a question to you. What will you do in a city where you can get away with a lot of civic innovation? That's kind of like a backhanded compliment towards our home. You can get away with a lot because there are gaps between what our city should look like and what our city does. There are a lot of issues, and the city government does not always have the personnel, resources, or sometimes even the competency to notice the bad and the good that is happening out there. So case study number 1. The city puts in ADA ramps, but ignores the missing sidewalk at the vacant lot that it maintains, because it's a different department. So hundreds of frustrating things like this cause many people to flee the city. But if your nonprofit or for-profit company wants to make the city a better place, it's an exciting place to be. Now, I have no resolution to that story, so I'll go to my second example. There's a bike lane on Spruce Street near 38th, but since it's in front of a Wawa, it's always blocked all day long with people who are just there for 5 minutes. The Penn police would occasionally push people away, but it's not a great use of their time. So how would you fix this problem? Cones. So after reading Tactical Urbanism by Mike Lydon here, who signed the cone, thank you, I collected a dozen cones left behind by various gas, water, or road repair jobs and placed them on a line between the car and the bike lane. So I used the litter left behind by government inefficiency to make the city safer. And it worked. I had no idea if it would be there for 3 hours or 3 days, but after 3 years, the police now think it's their idea. There is no time for applause. And so when the new Google Street View came out, it had a father and a daughter riding on the bike lane in safety. So case study number 3. When you moved to the city, how did you feel about all the litter that's around here? I moved here 8 years ago, and I hated the hopelessness that our trash-covered streets conveyed. So for many years, I would go out once a week with a grabber, and I'd pick up the litter on my block, and it would only take about 15 minutes. And so after a little while, I thought through an outline of well, what if we had people all over the city? What if we could have an easy way to sign up, for people to sign up to say they were going to take care of their block? So because litter is an issue that new and longtime Philadelphians hate and often feel powerless over. But I knew that didn't need to be the case. And so here's where I want to encourage you, is that even though there are enormous issues in our city, there is no shortage of excellent people to work alongside you to make your crazy dreams come true. I had no idea even how to change my own Wi-Fi password, but I connected with the good people of Code for Philly to start the website Not in Philly. And so it was at my first meeting of this activist coding group where I met Yuri Korzon. He's from Minsk, a great immigrant story via Charlotte, and he got bored living in the suburbs. And so he wanted to connect with people that he just, in the city he just moved to the previous week. And so I went to Code for Philly, and I can't even change my own Wi-Fi password. And they thought, oh, well, we'll just get something from Google or Apple or from another city. But when you find out that nothing else, no one else has gone and tried your crazy idea, it's up to you, or in my case, my really talented volunteers, to make it possible. And so here is notinphilly.org. And so our name has an edge, but as you see here, our members are really nice. And our program asks for a 6-month commitment to going out once a week to clean your block. And we'll provide citizens with bags, trash grabbers, and even prizes from area companies by when members take a picture of their clean block and hashtag it #NotInPhilly. So in under a year, almost 1,000 Philadelphians have been enlisted to combat litter in our neighborhoods. And this doesn't just have to be a Philly thing. Yeah, our code is open source, so it can be used by any place for anything that a city would want to do to combat block by block. I love how my Philadelphians are stepping in to solve problems instead of waiting around for the city to provide a solution. And when good things happen, word gets around. And here again is a point that I think is pretty special in Philadelphia. We have this vibrant media scene. Inky, Philly Mag, Billy Penn, who just did a story about the cleanups we're going to do underneath the L in Kensington. Philly Voice, Philly Citizen, technically, they all want to write about the good that is being done here in Philadelphia. And here's CBS 3. So if you're doing good, the word will get out. And even though we're not a very wealthy city, there is funding available if you're creative. We're not the cutest nonprofit around, I acknowledge that. But so we had to look outside the normal funding streams. So we're looking at the real estate sector to become neighborhood sponsors because litter decreases their values. And so finally, case study number 4. With Not in Philly running well and being outed by the Inquirer for creating rogue bike lanes, my next endeavor will be to create a portal for churches to adopt their local public school. What if community and church members of all races served alongside one another to provide dinner and homework help for the young learners in our neighborhoods? Look around at our nation now. We certainly need this kind of unity. And whether if it's with activist coders or faith communities, I want to bring people together to create a more just and beautiful city. So I've thrown a lot at you, and I would love to hear your dreams of how to make our city better. I'll be right back there, and definitely ask me about these under the L cleanups that we're going to be starting tomorrow in Kensington. Thanks a lot.